I wish I would have known about this earlier in my life, like a kid, because I would have had my parents wrapped around my finger. I would have had my teachers wrapped around my finger. I think I would have been president. All right, my first book review starts right now.
Can I get some attention? There is something I need to say.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Ben Caparoon, and this is my first book review. If you came back, that means you kind of sort of liked me. So it's a really basic book. However, I feel like this book is a book that most people should read. Maybe they haven't, or maybe they haven't read it in a very long time. But it is How to Win Friends and Influence People, the Digital Age. So this book is a little bit different than the original, or at least the previous versions that I've read. It brings it more into context of today with social media, Twitter, Facebook, what have you. And it really gives more examples of how we communicate today. So in this updated version of the book, it, instead of talking about telegrams, it's talking about Twitter. Instead of talking about letter writing, it talks about emails. It really puts things in today's perspective and today's manner of communication. It's really important, I think, having this context. And while I enjoyed the original very much, I felt like it was the first book that I read that made such an impact on me as a professional and how to communicate with people and how to deal with people. But this really gives context in how we communicate today as a mass form of communication. We can write a tweet, and if you have the followers, it gets out immediately to hundreds of thousands of people. Facebook, you can post things and immediately get responses from people. So I think it's really important that how they talk about these different forms of communication and then how to apply their principles in this manner. But it's very difficult to master these characteristics that it brings out in the book. The reason for it, I believe, is people are emotional people. We think with our feelings most of the time. If somebody says something negative or act a certain way that we don't like, the first thing we do is get very emotional, and we tend to have an emotional response. What I feel like this book has really drilled into me is, at the base of it, I believe it's really about communication. So it's how you say, what you say, and when you say it. There's a proper time to say things. There's a proper time to wait, and maybe you have something really important, but it's just not the right time. Or it's the right time and you want to get a message across, but you need to choose your words and your tone wisely, because it could get misconstrued or people take it the wrong way. It's so many factors go into communication, and it really helps break down how we communicate as a society and helps us with some guidelines or principles to help us frame our communication a little bit better in a way that maybe we haven't thought of before. I wished schools had a curriculum built around this single book. We're taught math, English, somewhat economics, all these PE, all these different things that are supposed to help us and guide us to further, better education and life. But yet we don't really learn how to communicate. We learn the syntax of the English language or whatever language we natively speak, but we don't really understand the impact of how we say things, when we say it. It's just I think it hurts our society by not helping people learn how to communicate more effectively, more appropriately, with less yelling, with less misunderstanding. Most of the time, people just want to say what they want to say, and they don't really care about anyone else's feelings, but yet they get little to no traction of what they're trying to communicate. People shut down, people don't listen. It's just ineffective all the way around. And I see it on a daily basis at grocery stores, people yelling at customer service, malls, parents talking to their kids. It's just not a way of thinking that most people have. And this book really helps give us the guidelines to rethink how we communicate. So I would highly recommend everybody read this book, not just once, twice, 3 times. Study it every couple of years, refresher courses, whatever you need to do, because these topics and principles they feel so basic after a while, but yet they're so difficult to master. And because we are emotional creatures, our emotions tend to take over a lot of the times, and we forget to apply these principles. So having refresher courses from time to time, I think, is a great idea. Even if you don't read the entire book, just mark the places as you're reading that you feel like you need to work on or that you struggle with, and then go back to it every so often. All right, that's it for my book review. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Wait, hold on. Do you see those? Do you see those baggy eyes? It's late. I'm a dad and I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Bye.